Let's look at how you would unpack a question for your HSC. This week I posted a question on Aboriginality and the land. We're going to look at part A and see how you might answer that question. So, in this section of the paper, we're often given two sources. One of them is a text-based source and the other is usually a visual source. I've used one from one of my Facebook posts from 3CR Community Radio, which is source B, called Abbott Proof Fence. Source A is actually an extract from the Sovereign Union letter to the United Nations. This is where Aboriginal people have actually written to the United Nations, asking them, or as the article puts it, making a cry for help in terms of having Aboriginal people's land and land rights recognised internationally. Okay, so using the question, which clearly states using the sources provided, explain the importance of land for Aboriginal people today, we're going to use the Peel approach. That is, point, make your point, evidence, explanation, and link. So what's the point? The point is that we have to make a connection to land. So we need to make a statement that says something like, land has always been important for Aboriginal people, that every Aboriginal group has its own language area, and that is also defined by a parcel of land, and that Aboriginal people are connected to that land both geographically and spiritually. And these connections need to be also stated as being essential for Aboriginal people's survival. Now, using the Peel method, we go to E, evidence. So what is the evidence in those sources? Okay, so source A and source B are both making comments about the Western Australian communities being removed off their traditional lands. Source B is the cartoon, which is using the very famous film Rabbit Proof Fence, and it's making fun or making a stand about Tony Abbott needing to stay away from Aboriginal people's traditional lands in Western Australia. And then we look at source A, which is an open letter pleading with the larger international communities to place pressure on Tony Abbott. What you must remember to do in these sorts of questions is always make it very, very clear that you have used both source A and source B. So you need to make a clear evidence statement linking both A and B. So what's the explanation? That's where we have to expand on what we've already said is our evidence. So in the case of this question, we might talk about the forced removal means that once again Aboriginal people's rights are being dismissed by the government, and that the open letter, which is of course our source A, is a way that Aboriginal people can gain more recognition through an opening up to other peoples internationally. And the last important thing that we have to do in our Peel method, so we've already made our point, provided some evidence, provided an explanation, is to provide the big link back to our original point. So our big link is back to source B, and the sources both help us to understand the need for Aboriginal people to have both the government listening to others and reinforcing Australia's international obligations in respect to human rights covenants. So, if you've got all of those sorts of point, evidence, explanation and link, a student should receive a good mark in their HSC. Remember, if you've forgotten the Peel method, go back to Stephanie's video called Essay Building with Lego that we posted on our WordPress site if you need to revise this for not just Aboriginal studies, but for any one of your subjects. Finally, the question would probably give you about an hour for this section. In that section, your answers have to be assessed on how well you demonstrate knowledge and understanding relevant to the question, that you communicate using relevant concepts and terms, and that you present a sustained, logical and cohesive response. Good luck everyone, and hopefully this week you'll be writing some better essays. Don't forget to also like our Aboriginal Studies and the National Curriculum Community page, as well as our HSC Improvement page. Happy studying, guys. You're going to be deadly learners.